Avoiding credit card dependence. That's what we're talking about today. Hey guys, it's your girl Jackie from the Financial Literacy Tribe coming at you with a brand new video. Guys, you know that I am no stranger to debt, okay? Your girl managed to rack up over $90,000 in debt over the course of her life, and I have been very aggressively and aggravatedly, I don't even know if that's a word, but we're gonna go with it, very frustratingly whittling it down. I'm currently down to $55K. I try to keep you guys posted every chance I get. But for today, we are talking about how to avoid credit card dependence, which is huge. So let's jump right in. First of all, what is credit card dependence? I am not talking about the individuals who literally just have a credit card because they really like the points and they pay off the balance by the end of the month, or maybe they just rack up a small balance during the holidays because they're buying Christmas presents, but for the most part, they don't have a balance. That's not credit card dependence. Credit card dependence is when you need your credit card in order to make ends meet. You're not actually making ends meet because you're just incurring more debt, but in order for you to survive and to continue functioning from month to month, you need to put stuff on your credit card. And what happens is that you're never really able to play catch up because the interest rates are really high. So you're not really able to pay it off. You just keep incurring more and more debt. The balance keeps on going up. It is a very vicious cycle. Trust me, I know. So that's what we're talking about today, is that dependence, that need to use your credit card. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to buy food or, buy whatever it is that you need. That's what we're talking about today. So definitely, if you're in that situation and you feel like you are dependent, you need your credit cards in order to make it from one month to the other, then I want you to take these tips into consideration so that you can break that habit. I know you can do it. I know you can. Number one is you need to allocate any spare money that you can towards starting an emergency fund. This one is really tricky because when you feel like you're underwater in terms of your bills in the first place, sometimes you're like, I don't have any spare money. Trust me, I know what that feels like too. But definitely if you're in that situation, then I'm going to need for you to take a good look at your budget and your monthly expenses with an actual magnifying glass. And you are going to cut out whatever it is that you don't need, whatever is fluff or filler, even if it just means like temporarily cutting it out, but you are going to trim the fat honey so that you have at least a little bit of spare money. We call that money margin. Whatever is not going towards your bills after all your bills are paid, whatever money is left over is called your margin. So you are going to definitely have as much margin as you possibly can by cutting out those expenses, cutting down on your expenses, and you are going to save your margin. You're not putting it towards your credit card balances yet. We're going to save and start an emergency fund. That is step number one. Why do we need to set up an emergency fund? I talk about it all the time. Let me share with you the gloriousness that is an emergency fund. That means that when your car breaks down, or you need new tires, or your kid needs cleats for soccer or whatever other sport uses cleats. I don't know anything about sports. Whenever you need money in a snap, you have it. You put a bunch of money away in your emergency fund, and so you have that money on hand. You don't have to run to your credit cards when that emergency pops up. So that is priority numero uno, is to make sure that you are saving up an emergency fund. My tip number two, and I am not saying this to be a jerk. I am not saying this to make light of anybody's situation. I'm just saying this because it's what I did. My step number two, I got a second job, okay? I was serious about paying off that balance as quick as possible. I didn't want to work a second job forever, and I didn't. My situation was different. I had like $20,000 in credit card debt that I was trying to get rid of, so I had a second job for a good 2 years, okay? But I'm just saying you may want to consider bringing in additional income, especially if you don't have a ton of margin. Remember, we talked about margin in the beginning of the video. If you don't have a lot of money left over after all of your monthly expenses are paid, you may want to consider doing something to bring in some extra income so that that income can go specifically toward knocking out the balances on those credit cards. Just don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying you may want to consider it. Tip number 3 is while you're in the process of paying off your credit cards, shred it. Shred it. If you're a chicken like I was and you didn't want to shred it, hide it really, really well. Freeze it in a block of ice. Throw it in the blender. Throw it in the toaster. Do something, okay? But you need to eradicate the temptation from your life. And so the best way to do that is to shred it and get rid of it. Delete it. Do whatever it is that you have to while you are paying off that balance so that it's not in your face, tempting you. Spend me. Shred it. It burns. My next tip is more of a psychological one. If you know that you have a shopping issue, an impulse buying issue that you're working through, then don't put yourself in the positions where that's going to be particularly easy to do. I'm talking about if you're a shopaholic, you love the sales, you love the shop, the hunt of being able to find that beautiful brand new whatever it is. Avoid the stores. Avoid the mall. If that's your trigger place, avoid Marshalls, avoid Targets. Wherever it is that you feel like your self-control starts to dissolve, then maybe you should just actively not go to that place. I have not been to a mall. I honestly couldn't even, I think it was last Christmas. I'm pretty sure it's almost been a year since I was physically inside of a mall. You know, does that alleviate the temptation to shop 100%? Of course not, because nowadays everybody's buying everything online anyway. But it definitely helps to not be physically in the store, touching the garments, seeing things. It definitely helps. So just be sure that whatever your trigger is, whatever it is that, again, causes that impulse to just rise up within you to want to buy those things, try to avoid it. And my last tip is don't forget, as you're going throughout your journey and paying off those credit cards, don't forget to reward yourself for good habits, for good behavior. You know, maybe you can make yourself a promise and sit there and say like, okay, once I've paid off whatever, I don't know, pick whatever number it is that you want, I'm going to treat myself to an item. I'm going to treat myself, save up $100 and go shopping with that $100. I don't know. I don't know what it is that you like. But I'm just saying that it would help the whole entire process if you don't feel like you're depriving yourself of every single thing that you love. You know, it makes it really, really hard when you just feel like your life is just really, really sad without being able to just buy whatever it is that you want. Which it's not, by the way. I feel like during this whole entire journey, I've just found out a lot about myself in terms of things, hobbies, and different activities that I really enjoy that really don't even cost a dime, you know? And so I think that that's part of the journey, is just kind of like finding things that you can enjoy and really indulge in that aren't going to get you in trouble with your pocketbook. But definitely that goes to say that while you're going through your journey of paying off stuff, it doesn't mean that you can't indulge every now and again. It doesn't mean that you can't treat yourself. The idea is not to live in like potato sacks, you know, cardboard box. You know, that's not the idea of like a frugal, debt-free life. The idea is to still enjoy yourself and enjoy the fruits of your labor, but you're just doing it in a different way. You know, so for me, I had to really change the mentality from instant gratification. I had to get rid of that instant gratification part of myself where it's like I just wanted what I wanted and I wanted it now. I now know I can still have the things that I like. I can still have the things that I value and that I enjoy, but I have to save for them. And it feels so much better to save for something that you really want as opposed to just, you know, putting it on a credit card and then having to incur interest and having to pay it off and having to stress about it. Ugh, trust me, it's way better to just save up for it. So definitely as part of your incentive and your whole rewarding yourself for good behavior and for progress, you know, you may want to consider just setting aside $100 or whatever and then treating yourself to something, whether that be a massage or going out and buying clothes or shoes or whatever it is. But at least that way you're getting into the habit of saving for the things that you want, as opposed to just putting it on a credit card. And you're also incentivizing the good behaviors along the way. Everybody's happy. And guys, that's it. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to comment below if you have additional tips that you have found to be very, very helpful in paying off credit cards and being able to just release yourself from that dependence on credit cards. Be sure to drop it in the comment section because I want to hear about it. Definitely, if you're not currently subscribed to my channel, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button so that you could be notified every time I have a brand new video up. And if you like the content that I'm delivering and you want more of it, why wait? Check out my blog at FocusFrugalFab.com. And I will see you guys